abusia for kame ho na yema counselor Akwaba Sonkokra. Papa.
Hello.
Papa, oh Mama Kwenya, then I start reading the first story, then we take it from there. Right. I say, Auntie Valerie, please. This is something that society doesn't talk about. And I believe that your platform is the perfect place to do this. Auntie Valerie, society frowns so bad on people who are so clinged to their mothers. They understand that if a man is close to his mother, one way or the other, the person is not firm when it comes to decision making and isn't fit to be a husband. That has been the characteristics that has been aligned to a man who loves his mother. He's even tagged as a mommy's boy. Now, this is my story. I have loved my mother because she's the one who took care of us right from childhood up until now. She made sure that everything concerning us was well taken care of. Auntie Valerie, growing up, I was socialized differently outside. And my manhood, I always say, came from school and my other association with other men. I love my mother, but she's one who doesn't influence any of my decisions. She prays for me and expects that I do the right thing. Now, I met this young woman, and believe you me, she is just awesome. Because of her beautiful attitude, I decided to go ahead and get married to her. And my mother didn't have any issues whatsoever. She became very good friends with my mother. I believe that that is what people who are looking forward to having a very peaceful marriage does, just so their home will be a lively one. Now, this is what I have noticed by my wife ever since we got married. 3 months down the line, Auntie Valerie, I can say for a fact that my wife is a daddy's girl. This is something that society never speaks about or talks about. This girl tells her father virtually every single thing, including decisions that we have taken in the bedroom. I thought it was just one of those things. In fact, I feel deep down that the man is the one who is running my home. The girl loves her dad so much that every single thing that her father says, she will do. In fact, she even goes ahead to double check with her father things that I have sat down with her to talk about. Society never talks about issues of this nature, but it is a problem. It is a problem in my marriage, and it is a problem in my home. I believe many young men are also going through the same situation, but then if it were to be the other way around, men would have been in trouble. Auntie Valerie, please ask counselor for me with the greatest of respect. How do I take the man outside my home without sounding disrespectful or making it seem as though I know it all? Because most definitely we will need his counsel where the need be. Counselor.
Let's go straight to this very point. So the boy happens to be mommy's boy.
Right.
And the girl happens to be daddy's daughter.
Right.
I know my what there. Number one, it is believed that swaba a rezibema. Sometimes he, the young man, that grows well. Sometimes the pattern of his life is not like a man raising a boy.
Okay.
Because it is believed that waba there or krokro bema no. It's mommy's boy. The trumiya the da ma fe the ase na dwen dwen so.
Okay.
The decisions so. Na thinkens ase waba te say oye bema wo the peduamu na nso wo badwene. Na be busa sa wo badwene sabi wagimi. Then I want to tell the society that there are women that can raise a boy better than even a man.
Thank you, sir.
So who said that we a mama ba, or I get it is a ba, na sabi be aukasa, unyansa te se oba nyansa na dan be busa se oba nyansa ne be nyansa difference na ya na percentage ne te say so society should understand and stop saying that oh yeah mama ba na oba na tete wa you are imbalanced.
Yeah.
Number 2, me ma me na tete me bedum pempen so am wade jump fast forward ma wade sa na be firi say me ma me na tete me because fa oba ne de epuetwu sa wo papa na tete no. Number 1, I want to ask the gentleman a question. Ofa na in the court or dating no na mpacho wan na tete no ana wan na tete no ana wan na atete no. Did you know about the father right from the beginning? If it is yes, the influence of the lady, how she thinks, her pattern and her way of doing things did not start in the marriage. It started from the relationship.
Okay.
The problem with us is that love makes us go blind so much that we do not want to pay attention to what is happening right in front of us. So make us go blind.
Right.
So much that even when the girl is still acting and taking decisions from the father, the man want to pretend and say, me wadinu obejai. Me wadinu obejai has killed a lot of good marriages. Because a lot of people will not change after marriage. It is either it becomes worse or you cannot handle them and you decide to walk out.
Okay.
Now, then I get to know that everything we talk about, the father gets to know through the daughter. Then I was saying, you don't need to talk to the father. You just need to face your wife.
Okay.
Sit your wife down. Okay. We are going to settle issues amicably. But first of all, the gentleman should have been able to talk over this issue with the lady. Say, me who saw papa. Because to me can't say, "Mara na bu dating." Well, who saw papa.
Right.
You definitely go. It as a sabio or mamia with the to the papa. They have that bond. And I say, or my metias born in the papa jai.
Right.
And a Johnny raising the baba. Maybe a mamma was not responsible enough in Tipapa and the J. You understand what I'm saying? So, Utako Fio Chempera, Echo Bacobano, one I won't sort a tiabo frano. Then you be any bonko. So at the end of the day, you got to know that the papa and the reason. So then you will know that the father, every crown why the babako.
Right.
A tuba will say, Papa will influence on the daughter. Before you go into the marriage, there should have been a talk over. Number 2, say, well, what do you do? Sit the lady down. Who is your wife now? There is no need to fight. You don't even have to confront the father. Okay. Leave him aside. And talk to your wife for her to understand that this is marriage.
Okay.
And when it comes to marriage, we are the first people to make first decision, not the father. And whatever we talk about must not go to your father. If you think you need further, information, because you don't understand 1 or 2 or 3 things, then you can inquire from your father by asking him his opinion. You don't tell him my opinion for him to suggest to you, for you to apply what he says. If your father is who suggests to you for you to know how to operate and live your marriage, then it tells you that it's your father who is the man. The husband becomes a woman. So, sister and I didn't say.
Right.
So the best person to talk to, as I'm talking to the husband, call your wife down, sit her down, and please be respectful enough. Mema ebufo bi mbehye onka say, "Oi, obviously you be there agro and obviously aware kwala to be kan bosa kutia ne papa." Then the lady is going to be stubborn and rebel and fight back. But if you're able to sit with wisdom and talk to her, take your time. Obuoso. So may it saying, "Me no be ka say, just keep quiet and listen. I beg you." Oyokra wa jojo. So may it be do. Men start, don't attack issues without saying good things about your wife. If you attack issues without saying good things, it is going to end up as if she's never been good. When the papa kasaya no aba artist is a toy, as a teddy bear, no asanko. No, so you've been a good wife to me. You cook well. I love you so much. In fact, sometimes when I'm saying I'm blessed to have you because you are very beautiful. Now no crime, I'm saying me give them I'm a 90 bin award. Already now we ask, but there's something that is bothering me in the marriage. I think that sometimes when I talk to you and you talk to your father, how did you even know it is the father who spoke to her? So you go like, you told me yourself that, oh no, Papa Krakasa, oh Papa say, oh no, I told me and said, I think I'm not happy. Why are you not happy? Why expressing Oboko, Obusu, who are there, Rebecca? I'm sorry. See, nobody gets into marriage as a perfect person.
Right.
Marriage makes us grow. So in marriage, we grow. And that is why when you marry and somebody is refusing to grow, there comes a time of difficulty and nobody can handle it.
Right.
It's yet yes, yeah, we're and just say you're too mature that we don't even need to change anymore.
Okay.
It's when we send the papa, the way you're lucky. When we send the papa has high influence, sit there down, talk to her, she will change.
Let's read the second story. Na afiyede atwaso pepepe. Auntie Valerie, I married my husband 2 years ago, and he told me that if we get married, my father should go every length and breadth to make sure that he is stable and also very okay. I felt that these things were just saying sick, so I really didn't pay attention to none of these things he was talking about then. I just laughed it off, and he also laughed it off. After the marriage, everybody could attest to the fact that my husband went length and breadth to make sure that everything was indeed beautiful. I told him point blank that everything that we're doing, especially the excesses, wasn't necessary, and that we should keep some of these monies because a marriage indeed starts after the ceremony. He told me that he was coming into a home of wealth. He has to make his mark just so that the father or my father is going to see him, respect him, and do the necessary things if he should come through and do his bidding. Now, after the marriage, he realized that things are not as he thought they were. Yes, my father was a rich man, but he's not at the level he was when we were children. My husband looks kind of disappointed. I believe that we are the ones who are doing life together, and that my father's wealth as it stands now shouldn't be a problem. My husband gets angry all of a sudden. Quickly, he's tempered. I have spoken to him about it, and Auntie Valerie, one time, it resulted in violence. This man slapped me and told me he was sorry. After the first time, I saw it as a dream. I didn't know whether to believe or not to believe. But then I swept it under the carpet and believed that marriages has its own problems. And I was even told that when a marriage starts right from the beginning and then they have issues, it means that you get to enjoy the rest of the marriage at the end. It is better than to enjoy and have problems at the end of the marriage. Auntie Valerie, I've had 3 slaps in the course of a short period. I don't know, but I am not interested in the marriage anymore. But the pomp and pageantry, the way and manner through which this guy wedded me, the people that were there to witness virtually everything that happened. I don't know why he has turned upside down, but I am scared. We have a 6-month-old daughter. I'm ready to step out, but I need counselor's advice. Auntie Valerie, please, let counselor advise me.
All right, Sister Valerie.
Papa.
We will hear full counseling, but we can also give her a nut, something to live with.
Right.
Mamika Bibinchiro. The guy is simply an opportunist who entered with an expectation, unrealistic expectation, and now it bounced back to him that what he expected, he didn't get.
Right.
So he's left with anger, period. Where there is short answer, we mean the 1 minute into maybe.
Right.
It's when we say, you need to understand that if you enter into a relationship and then you are dreaming of getting married to the person, but you are also looking at unrealistic expectations, this guy has actually listed a lot of things in his mind,
right,
towards the future that, look, Sesemi will be, Yendi.
Right.
But the guy actually was doing all these things in an attempt knowing that once I marry you, everything of your father will automatically come into my hands. No, Eja, Oya Brante no will be. Eja says, oh, back okraba, Sikani in a grofwe wia, grofwe dibi, or the BSC die, Sikasema before. It's like my expectations are crushed.
Right.
A dino crabby and a mienza, a jat on 2. I know the baby I contra America.
Right.
It just said like I married you on a purpose, my selfish interest. It is not coming to pass. This guy is left with anger. What do you expect? Because you are not fit to his expectations anymore. So what do I say now? Listen, no guy should enter into a relationship in an expectation that me wadenwa ni maami bi ni papa bi ebe boa me. O wade a ye boa ye ho ye be boa ye bra. Mami ka bibi nkyere o.
Capuchin me, Papa.
Voilà.
Papa.
One kla wo share university. O papa wo share university.
Right.
One ti o call holiday or Germany, Hamburg, house and buy. O wade we are none of them will do the same for you. Everybody watch me and listen. And I'm speaking out of experiences. I didn't say experience. I know a lady who came to me and said, no, actually asked her, you have said for now I'm this and that and I'm doing this and I want to. I said, why don't you start before? He said, no. My uncle promised me that he's going to surprise me with this and that and that. I said, sister, but brothers, what would you? And now I said, we are look for something to do yourself and stop believing. You can say, please, Daddy, you don't understand. I can even call my uncle and put it on speaker. Like, he has made a lot of promises, a lot. MCU. She got married and called the uncle. The uncle said, if your husband cannot provide for you, what are you doing? And let me tell you this. I've seen young ladies at Omoko School University. Now at the point, a guy comes to and say, mewado. Now our Diana be name than the vision of whoever. And then they think that still me warina the papa beshan. Oh warina be to your fees na can. Come on, let's be real. Maybe a Johnny now would be, but they can look at you and say, now wouldn't be someone so ya, hands on ya, over what they had. And that is why in the wisdom of God, God created Adam as a mature person. And garden was already provided. God is trying to say, if you are not mature, then you are not ready to take responsibilities. You don't need Eve.
My goodness.
And so one of the things we should understand is that a man will not go get a woman because of sex. A man go get a woman because he's a responsible man, emotionally, mentally, psychologically, and physically. Thank you.
Let me read the final story. Auntie Valerie, please, I would want you to put this before counselor. I want to know exactly what his thoughts are. I am about getting married to my husband-to-be, hopefully this year in the last quarter. But the situation right now is there are little fights coming up and down. The next moment, he doesn't want to. And I myself, I get tired and I tell him that we should call it quits. Then the next moment, we come back together. We have done this continuously for the first quarter, and it is making me scared. I would want to know that is it normal for people who are getting married eventually to be having fights of that nature and be talking about breakups or having to split eventually? Auntie Valerie, this is really eating me up. I don't know if it's a red flag that I need to look at and not go back into this marriage. Would it be okay to call the marriage off? It's not as though I don't love this person. I do. But this whole back and forth thing is just making me scared. Auntie Valerie, can counselor please make us understand what happens during that period from getting into courtship through to marriage? That space that happens through the proposal or engagement. What are the couple expected to do in waiting for their big day?
Let me pick it from two angles.
Right.
Sister, it could be spiritual and it could be physical.
Okay.
I'm picking it from different angles because
I understand, Papa. Flow.
If you
Flow.
even when you meet angel,
Right.
you'll be frustrated with the angel.
Okay.
The reason is that you are not permitted to settle with a good man. But when you meet an ugly man, when I say ugly man,
right.
You know, he goes around chasing women. You don't enjoy. I know you can settle with a man. So I know one and know a jow. No one will say if you know. With different fathers, you be jow.
Right.
If you be when you are meeting a good man and you are about to get, they will create confusion so that you will never settle.
Okay.
So that one has to do with spiritual marriage.
spiritual
and
marriage.
it's real.
Okay.
Nobody should look at me and doubt it.
Right.
It's real.
Right.
Ever.
Okay.
Number 2, let's take the physical side. Only hear me.
Right.
Well, so sometimes we imagine things and think that BBSCBI is spiritual, be spiritual. In fact, I'm sorry to sit here on TV to say that it be out of foolishness. Okokonye, mekokonye, ontiasye, mentiasye. Then it comes to a point we look at ourselves, even though we love ourselves, to say that I think some are breme. And when it comes to that point, back and forth, up and down, these are 2 immature people at play.
Okay.
It is like, see, when you know what you want and you get what you want, you create commitment to it. If you know what you want and you know, Charlie, Charlie, anything I need to do to keep her, you do it.
Right.
Because you know that if you lose her, it won't be easy. Especially when you look at her, you see your future in her. You see the action in that chauba way, bema way, meaning the bobra me.
Right.
You will not let go. I'm not talking about beauty, good legs. I'm talking about good brains. Bema no, the suba nenye, the koko nenye, and all your truthful. It can be a red flag.
Okay.
So you can look at him and say, where me wadenwa me matri omba penny or your truthful or your emba pefo
right
or ba pefo womanizer
right
and I way the trimmer thing or you're stingy
right
when you're on my four. I think that is not what I bargain for.
Right.
That is not what I'm looking for.
Okay.
That is not what you take me. You can make a decision to work out and just spiritual. Okay. You just make a decision, say, this one cannot be the father of my children. And work out.
Okay.
Me or bad na me na. Me should be the provoking guy na.
Okay.
Because also it is there.
So then it's a dual thing.
Thank you.
Once we screening,
also show
right.
Me kasado do. Me naga. Do I complain too much?
Right.
Do I do something to create an atmosphere that stirs his anger up?
Okay.
If it is yes, why don't I also change? Because once you change, automatically change falls on him.
All right.
You find say, and you can say, or so it creates a problem here. Ebasa, one triggers the action of the other one, and it makes the atmosphere uncomfortable, uncontrolling. Yet to mean why? Because Bako Hajin. How can a blind man lead another blind man? If they do, both will fall into a pit. So what do I say? Red flags are spiritual, physical. It is either you apply wisdom to the physical. If it is about red flags, pay attention. And if it's about spiritual, enter into a moment of prayer.
Right.
For with God, all things are possible. Thank you.